Hey everybody, it's Eran here. Thanks a lot for joining me for session number 2 on the virtual summit, the .com Truth Virtual Summit. I see there's a bunch of people on YouTube. If you can just leave a little comment for me just to say hi, where you're from. I'd love to know where you're from and that you're here and you can hear me as well. And this is going to be a really cool session specifically on the topic of lead magnets, lead magnet magic. And I have a guest expert, copywriting expert, who's going to be joining us. So let me just see the chat. Okay, perfect. I see a whole bunch of people on YouTube. Awesome. And I love getting people's feedback. I've been getting people's feedback about the session and the first session and all that. And somebody said I should read an intro on the speaker before so we know like who they are and stuff. I thought it's a very good idea. I didn't do that with Aurelian. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna find my little spiel about Beth, but I'll tell you briefly. So Beth and I connected. I think it was Stu's membership. I think it was Stu's membership. I think, and that's where we connected. And we just did we just kind of a networking call. Really, it wasn't really anything special. We just kind of connected there. And I think she reviewed one of my sales pages, I think. And I think that's something that I think is really important, which unfortunately you don't see it as common. I know I do it because I know it makes a difference to really just unconditionally help. And that's something that she did with me. I was like, okay, that was very good to me. I was like, okay, this is somebody that is genuinely interested in helping. There was zero, like, it wasn't like, oh, let me pitch you this, let me pitch you. There was none of that. It was just purely, I think she reviewed my sales page, maybe even recorded a video, maybe, or something. There was definitely like it was like she took time to do it the right way. So that was really like, to me, that really made a big difference in terms of like knowing that somebody's like, you want to connect them further. So that's a little tip for you. Success leaves clues. Okay. So hey, Teresa, Chicago in the house. Hear you loud and clear. Awesome. Lisa is here. Hillary, thank you so much for your suggestion. Phoenix, Arizona. Let's just see. Ben, I'm not sure what your name is, but Hillary, great to see you. Therese, awesome. Lisa, awesome. Yes, Beth is amazing. Hi, Susan. Hello from sunny and rainy Florida. I love it. Awesome. All righty. Well, let me bring on Beth and we can kind of dive in.
Hi, Ron.
Hey, let me just get my things sorted here. Okay, there you go. Cool. All righty. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome.
I have a halo up here.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. Now, quick, just so people know the agenda. So the agenda is very simple. Beth has really, really good, simple slides. And yes, she's going to take you through that, which I think a lot of people are going to find value. I had a look at it, really good stuff. And then I think we have 5 or 6 lead magnets of other people that Beth is just going to, plow through and see how much we can basically review. The session you can expect to be between, let's say, 1 to 2 hours at the most, depending on how long it takes. We don't want to cut corners on the reviews, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm hoping that you'll find inspiration from the lead magnets. And if there's one thing I want you to kind of take away from this, also from this session, is you don't have to follow everything. You just gotta pick the things that resonate with you and kind of look at the different tips that, like, okay, this is where I can improve mine. Okay, because I know a lot of people here probably have some sort of lead magnet, but if you don't, it really is simple to get done. So hopefully in the co-working sessions, if you don't have a lead magnet, we can actually get your lead magnet done. So awesome. Cheryl, yeah. So if you want to go to summit.comtrips.com/live, that will be in the YouTube channel. I can send it to you on DM, Cheryl. And cool, Leah, awesome. And okay, I'll kind of let you get on with it and start your training. Awesome.
Thank you much. All right, and yes, just because I noticed backgrounds, this is a harp. I'm a musician as well as a copywriter, so Didn't want that to distract anyone wondering what the heck is that. So today, I'm going to be sharing about lead magnet magic. Got to have the consonants in there with the M's. I'm going to go through just a few pointers, and then we'll review some, as Eran said. And what I'm hoping is, if you have a lead magnet, this will help you possibly kind of check to make sure you have the right elements in your lead magnet, and as well as let me turn my phone off here to make sure we're not interrupted. As well as give you ideas for other lead magnets, or if you don't have a lead magnet yet, it'll definitely, hopefully, get the creative juices flowing, and all these different examples can assist you and support you in developing your own. Okay. So lead magnet is basically a resource or product that you offer someone in return for their name and email. It can be other kinds of contact information, but that's the basics, right? That's what you want to ask for. The prospective client or lead is then on your email list, so you can develop and nurture that relationship. So hopefully supporting them in what they do and leading them to become a paying client, hence the term lead magnet. But Beth, I have 8,000 people in my Facebook group and 12,000 followers on YouTube. Do I really have to have an email list? So you can imagine some people know the answer to this, and it is yes, absolutely. Considering all the ways you can build an audience, your list, followers, friends, and connections, members of your groups on platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Given all of those, the only one of these that you actually 100% control and own is your email list. And because the smart chicken says, don't put all your eggs in one basket, or don't put your eggs all in one basket. I'm gotta edit my grammar there. Unless that basket is your email list, then absolutely. But the fact is that platforms, how many people still have a thriving MySpace account, right? Platforms come and go. They can all, they're businesses. Anyway, I can say a lot about platforms and social media, but basically they can close down your account. I've had people whose Facebook business ad accounts get frozen, all sorts of problems with Facebook. Not saying it's not a great resource, but things like that can happen. They can close your group. Things can happen within your group. A friend of mine was in a support group for therapists or like psychologists or something, and it was moms, and it got kind of taken over by some infighting. Yeah, it was a support group for like moms in business, and it literally got like the group members mutinied, and it ended up the administrators just were like, we can't deal with this, and they closed it down. So something that might have been a good lead source, they drastically change their algorithm or their advertising. All this can greatly affect your business. Just to give you 3 quick examples to drive this point home. Facebook in the last few years drastically changed the algorithm, so it got very expensive to do the kinds of really targeted advertising that people were doing. I do know some membership owners that had substantial memberships, and they would do these big launches, and they were suddenly, their numbers turned upside down because of how expensive the same Facebook ads they had been doing for a year or 2 or more all of a sudden got, and it was not sustainable for their launches. So they literally had to figure out new lead generation strategies. Now, is this, that much of a surprise in business? Things ebb and flow, but it's just, if you are counting on one type of thing on one platform for all your lead generation, you're really at risk of having something like this happen. Instagram just changed. They just added some short kind of TikTok style videos, and that's upsetting some people in Instagram. And it's just not the way they were using the platform to build their their business. Also, let's see. Just the fact that on YouTube you used to be able to DM people and you can't anymore. So all these things can happen. So please, please, please keep your email list. Keep it warm if you can. If you have a cold email list, consider starting to warm it up. And if you're just starting out, absolutely build an email list. So 2 things lead magnet must be: valuable enough that your ideal clients actually want to trade their email address for it, right? Something that they want, and easy to email. So it's going to be digital, either as an attachment, literally attached to an email, or in the email as links to either view a training or a video or download the digital asset. Benefits of a lead magnet, ideally. So a good lead magnet will entice your prospective customers to opt into your email list. Then you have that connection where you can follow up, nurture that relationship, and hopefully lead them to become a paying member. I'm so used to memberships. A paying client. Good lead magnet will also give them an experience of your expertise. Okay, so, or your service or your product. So it'll give them a taste. And because, obviously there are so many people in the world, letting them have giving them a direct experience of what you do and how you can help them is super key in terms of knowing you, liking you, trusting you with their business and their needs, or, not even their business. It might be, you might be doing coaching or therapy. It can also position you as an authority and a helpful resource. Again, know, like, and trust. So leading them to trust you enough to invest in your services or your products. Different types of lead magnets. Okay, this is literally just a smattering. It's a non-exhaustive list, but I wanted to kind of get you thinking about different ways you can present what you do and different types of lead magnets. Checklists can be really short, can literally be like, the top 3 so-and-sos, like whatever's. Ebooks, and how-to guide, an FAQ with expert answers from you or from others. You can actually bring together knowledge and expertise from other people to share, if given you have the permissions and that kind of thing. But that can be powerful. And how-to videos or trainings, or just specific video or training. And I would recommend 1 to 3 videos, keeping them very brief. We don't need to give away the farm. Templates or swipe copy. So helping them with their marketing, with their copywriting. Templates can be just any kind of template they can use and just plug and play. Last one on this page is a quiz. And I definitely recommend to start with a simple quiz if you're going to do it. There are all sorts of automated, especially now, automated apps and that kind of thing to help you do an automated quiz. But I'll tell you, it is way more complex than it looks, or personally, I think that it's advertised. Quizzes can be amazing, right, for marketing. But unless you really have your market nailed, really have your lead magnet nailed, and it's been like producing leads for a long time, it's like a proven lead magnet, I would definitely not spend the money and the time to automate a quiz. But you can do a really entertaining, interesting, well, maybe not entertaining in terms of like bells and whistles, but you can do a really interesting quiz in a PDF. You can go through questions and have the prospective client self-score their own quiz, and it still can be really interesting. I've done a few for people, and they're just super easy, but it's a little more interesting than just like an FAQ or a how-to book. can be, your lead magnet can be part of your training, course, or service. You can just kind of pull something out of a bigger body of work that you have. Examples could be budget spreadsheet template from a financial training where it's, like plug and play, like all the formulas are already in there, and you can do a quick, this is how to best use this spreadsheet template. Okay, you're giving them a helpful resource. A video on how to write a press release from a PR course, maybe a guided meditation audio from a coaching practice, or a sample chapter of your book. We see that a lot. It can also be, if you have a paid membership, a free sample of what you offer in that membership. So again, really has to be kind of a digitally, like something that's digitally consumable, or I should say deliverable, and can be like a digital dress pattern from a membership for sewers. Say you give a different dress pattern or a different sewing pattern every month as your membership. Membership for parents who homeschool could be a lesson plan. Say you give weekly lesson plans to parents in your paid membership for homeschooling. This can be just one lesson to give them an example of what you offer. It can be a craft project template for a membership for bored kids, that kind of thing. So just some examples. There are all sorts of different memberships. Obviously, if you have like a Taffy of the Month membership, it wouldn't necessarily be worth sending people samples of taffy unless you made like $5,000 a year on each client, and then it would be worth sending out quite a few taffy samples if the return on investment was there, but you get the idea. Elements every lead magnet should have. I couldn't resist this strange graphic of the wine glasses with elements inside. So you have fire, water, earth, and air. So elements that you really want in your lead magnet. If your lead magnet is a free sample of what you sell, then include these elements. So it's like a lesson plan. The lesson plan is not going to have these elements, but your email sending them the lesson plan can have these elements. Okay. Number 1, brief intro. Restate the value of what this resource is giving them, helping them, instructing them with, teaching them. So I like a little note, literally like, hi, heart-centered entrepreneur. You want to be speaking to one person, that one recipient. Just wanted to give you these copy templates because I know sometimes it's challenging, blah, blah, blah. Like let them know, kind of the value of it. And then it's just kind of a nice, like personally speaking to them kind of a note to intro. Clear, concise, and actionable content. Okay, things they can act on, information, resources, or even like a supportive guided meditation can be something that they can use, right? So include tips on how to best use the resource, like tips for, like listening to and getting the most out of this guided meditation. And then give them enough information to act on as the resource, but really watch. You don't want to overwhelm them because that's not a comfortable feeling for people, right? Especially in our world of overwhelm. Super, super duper important. Closing note with a call to action. So call to action is literally just an invitation for them to take the next step. You really, really, really want to keep this to one main call to action. This is also a CTA if you hear people talking about a CTA, call to action. It can be scheduling a call with you, could be just hiring you outright, could be join your free community, could be joining your free, your paid membership, purchasing your products, or registering for your course, training, mastermind, etc. If you also want them to do something like join your Facebook group or follow you on social media, you want to first very, very much emphasize that main important first action, okay, the main call to action. And then like lower where you list your, your links to social media or whatever, you can invite them, hey, be sure to check out my free Facebook group or whatever. But you definitely want to emphasize the main call to action, because like hopping on a call with you compared to joining your free Facebook group, like what's going to get you to the sale sooner, right, is hopping on a call. So definitely want to encourage things like, your free Facebook group, that's valuable and everything. But if you have them already consuming your content where they're actually getting to the end of your, because some people might not even get to the call to action at the end. I mean, that is super valuable point where you want to invite them to take that next step, and you want it to be a powerful step. So just emphasizing that. So do give them a quick win. Woohoo! You want to give them that that quick help if you can. Just super focused help on one thing that they might be struggling with, and you are going to be their hero, right? Look at that. Do make it easy to consume, right? We don't want something super duper long. Anyway, do get it done. Done is better than perfect, right? Just get something out the door. The great thing about lead magnets is you can update them, you can change them without too much of a, of a process. And don't overwhelm them with long ebooks or videos. Can you just hear the thump of that large book? It's probably a dictionary, actually. But I thought it was a telling graphic for do not overwhelm with long ebooks or like eight video trainings. Like eight video course. Like a mini course is, we really want to keep it mini, right? 1 to 3 videos. You can make it a resource like an FAQ, frequently asked questions, where they can consume it in chunks or go to the category. You can have that categorized. Don't just have like random, they have to read through and wade through all the things. Make it categorized so they can go right to the question that they want answered. Or something that they can consume in chunks or refer to when they need it. Like even if it's a how-to, definitely clearly mark the sections so that they can go like, oh, okay, I really need help on my Canva templates. So I need to go to that section in this how-to kind of thing. And don't stress on it. Done, again, worth repeating. Done is better than perfect. So curious what your most important takeaway was. And since I'm on slide view, I will go ahead and just forward to the thank you page, and I'll get back to the chat here. But just want to leave you with this calming view. It's the coast of Italy. So I love that one of lead magnets we're going to look at is someone who specializes in supporting expats in moving to other countries. And I'm definitely on my way to Italy in the next few years. So love that. So please feel free to email me any questions you have. And Aron, if we can shift to the chat, any questions anyone has over any of those points. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I love your slides. I have like nothing to give my input. I think everything you said is 100% on point. Could you show that last slide again about what was the most important piece? I'd love for people to leave a comment on what they felt was, what was your most important takeaway, right? Now I'll tell you what mine wanted. I'll share mine. So you mentioned something was at when the beginning of the lead magnet should reiterate why did they get it in the first place, which I think is a really important point in terms of like they downloaded it, but you know what it's like. People's attention span is very short. By the time they get your lead magnet, by the time they open it, by the time, we're used to 10 seconds TikToks and Reels and you know what I mean? That attention span is so short. It's actually really good to kind of like, here is why this lead magnet is even worth reading from.
Yeah, and you're reselling the value.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because it's
So
from you, you're reselling your value, right?
100%. So I think that's fantastic. Very, very important. Yeah. And then awesome. Got some good comments here. So let me just show. Hillary, one call to action. Love that. Elements for me. Could explain that further, please. Yep.
What elements? Sorry, what to explain what?
The elements. If you could explain that further, please. Lisa, which elements did you want to go through again? This one. So yeah, free sample. Go to the next slide. Yeah, so brief intro, number one, if you're taking notes, brief intro.
Mm-hmm. And for the VIP members, by the way, people who have purchased the VIP for the summit, these I'm assuming will be available to them.
Yeah,
that's actually why I wrote out a lot of the things. I don't love reading slides, but I wanted to make sure that the slides were complete ideas that people could review.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So yeah, we'll definitely have, for anybody that's a VIP or all access pass, you'll get that available. So yeah, number one is brief intro. What was number two? Clear and concise actionable contact. Yep.
And
content.
Include tips on how to best use the resource. Sometimes that's, like great to do.
Yeah, love that.
And the call to action can be one of these. All these are just examples of one main call to action. You wouldn't want to put all of them in there.
Yeah, love that. Okay, cool. Next
so,
comment.
Decide what would be the next best step that they could take to move them towards like being a paid client, purchasing your services or products. And, the next best comfortable step. So sometimes if, hey, this is all about, here's a guide on how to get your newborn on a sleep schedule. And, here are all these tips. Clearly people just want the problem solved, right? They're super busy. Like, hire me and I can, literally help coach you, to help this happen. I think we've got a little bit of an echo, but that could be the next call to action. Like literally, hire me to help, I'm a baby sleep consultant. I can help you, resolve this. If it's something like a big, $10,000 mastermind, schedule a call with me. And that can be like a sales conversation because, usually people don't join $10,000 masterminds, from one, PDF lead magnet, right? So kind of look at the steps to them becoming, like how you move people through your marketing and your sales process.
Yeah, 100%.
Does that answer questions? I want to make sure to address whatever is appropriate.
Yeah. Lisa, let us know if we've covered it. Okay, takeaway, one CTA, absolutely. Struggle with the length as I'm creating my lead magnet now.
The length?
So can you see the comment? Struggle with the length as I'm creating my lead magnet now.
So I was afraid to get off. Okay. So do you want to see my screen or do you want to go to your screen?
Oh, can you see the comments as I'm posting them or no?
I can see the live chat, but I don't know if everybody wants to see the
got it. Yeah.
The innards of all this.
Here we are. There you go. Struggle with the length. Yeah, I mean length. Yeah, why don't you give your 2 cents on that, on length? What would be the right length or short length or what are your thoughts?
What's the timestamp on that question? Because I'm catching up here.
Oh, I see. She's asking struggle with the length as I'm creating my lead magnet now.
Oh, Susan. So Susan, we tend to want to pack a lot in our resources, right? And I would absolutely encourage you to keep it as tight and short as possible. Literally, not because you don't want to give them too much, but because I admire your generosity. We want to help people and we've got all this information, right? So it's not about like giving them too much, like giving away too much. It's literally about not overwhelming them and helping them with really focused issues. Like if you can identify, this one thing that someone has a challenge with and help them, you will be like, bam, this resource helped me figure out how to, you know, uh, this template helped me figure out how to create a tight lead magnet that my customers can quickly consume and appreciate and help them, like literally that could be a lead magnet is helping you create a tight lead magnet. Understand what I'm saying? Like that would help you with that one issue that you're worried about or struggling with. So that's an example of a lead magnet. So anyway, I'm getting a little meta here. The more focused you can be, the more effective you can be in helping them with one particular problem, the faster they're going to get a win and the more they're going to appreciate you. Does that make sense? Like we want to be seen for like all the things that we know, but in terms of helping them, focusing on one thing, one problem, one issue can be really valuable. An overview can be valuable, and we'll see some kind of more overview-ish PDFs. But I tell you, the more focused you can get your lead magnet, if you know that, gosh, all the people I know struggle with clearing out their closets, like their clothes. People like if you're a clutter expert, I know everybody's pretty good with like their kitchen, their living room, whatever, but man, when it comes to their clothes closet, that's like really an issue. So like doing a lead magnet that focuses on that one problem spot, if you know almost all of your ideal clients struggle with that, that is gold.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Next comment. Thanks for reminding me to remind them of the value they are getting.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, love that. Cheryl asks, how long minutes is a brief video?
Ron, that might be a question for you. I'm not like video maven. I just know that quick to consume is unfortunately becoming shorter and shorter these days. In terms of our attention span.
I think on the video, my answer on that would be that it really depends on the niche. Obviously, Cheryl, you're an artist, right? Like you do painting and stuff. So obviously these aren't going to be a 30 seconds video or a 2 minutes video. To share an hour class for free, that's actually quite valuable for your type of audience because that's what you teach. You teach art. So if you're giving that as a sample as part of your membership and that's your freebie, actually that's not a bad deal. Whereas if I was to do a lead magnet, okay, join my 1 hour training, people will just be like, I don't have time for another hour training. So, it just depends on the niche to some degree. But I think in your case, Cheryl, maybe long is not terrible. It's not actually a bad deal as long as there's an actual result. And I think the other thing is, even if the length might be long, as long as you have a really good hook on why you should even stick around, like if you tell them in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how to have this painting, for example, which is whatever you're going to teach them, then I think about, okay, if they want to have that painting by the end of it, well, yeah, they'll stick around for that because that's of value. So I think that's kind of my answer on that.
And I will add that psychologically, sometimes having something broken up, sometimes artists can be a little on the ADD side of things.
Right.
Not always, but having something broken up, like being able to like put that in 3 parts that, okay, I consume, I can consume this much today and I'll come back to those other 2. And then have a hook at the end of each video, like maybe, break it into 3. And then do it that way. So you're literally selling them on the end of the video to like continue, even though you've given them the training. It's like you're selling them on like actually consuming. It's because that's a challenge. It's, you want people to get the quick wins, so you want them to consume your resource.
Yeah. Some feedback from Hillary. I would say 3 to 5 minutes for the first meeting you. Time lapse to longer demo needed. Yep. I think that's a fair point, Hillary. Yep.
Yeah.
I tend to agree.
And it depends upon, if you know that you've got tons of followers that are already watching your 30 or 45-minute videos, that it might be fine, like you're saying, Ron.
That's right. Part 1 and 2, 3, brilliant. Teaching videos, yes. Cheryl, on that, so you wouldn't link the lead magnet directly. You would link the landing page. That's what you would link. So you'll just take the copy of the URL of your landing page. So then they enter their name and email, and then they'll be able to download it.
Yeah, you always want to actually get their email and have that legally in your email. What would you call it? Service provider.
In
your service provider, so that everything's legal and you are doing a legitimate opt-in.
Yeah.
Some email services have you double opt-in, where it sends an email to that person saying, Hillary, are you really sure that you want Beth's email? And she has to click yes in order to actually get on your email list. So you definitely want to do all that legally. And if anyone's in Europe, for sure, or serving worldwide audience, GDPR, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Actually, do you have that too, Iran, in Australia?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as strict as Europe, but yeah, you definitely need to get permission. There's no question about that. So let me just share. So let me just show one thing, just because it's being asked of what that would look like. So, okay, so for example, here is my Facebook page. And then you'll see I have a link right here, aroundfunnels.com. Now for the sake of demonstration, I'm gonna just open it. And then you'll see it's basically linked here, but this is not the freebie. And my lead magnet here is a free software consultation, right?
Nice.
Now, I think because, there you go. So then before somebody leaves, I have a pop-up that asks them, to enter their email. Don't leave empty-handed, enter your email here, and I offer a few freebies, basically, right? So that's a landing page, what you saw, and then this thing right here is a pop-up. And only when they enter their email, only then they receive the freebies. So you wouldn't link the lead magnet, you would link the landing page, basically, and you would just put it in Facebook on edit bio, I think you would just do, basically. So that's just to answer that. Where do you put it?
And then, Cheryl, you would email them with links to the training, to your training, to your training videos.
So that will all be linked, basically. Exactly.
And then,
on the email.
And then make sure, I can't help myself being a copywriter, make sure to include, juicy names for all the videos, right? Not just, like training 1, 2, and 3. It's like training 1 intro to be, being like the most amazing watercolorist you can be. I don't know. Just, definitely feel free to get the juicy creative, especially being artists. That's fun. You can really play with that.
Totally. Yep. Okay, next question. How often do you recommend changing your lead magnet on your website?
That's interesting. I would say if it works to get new, prospective clients, get new leads, if it's working, I would say I wouldn't really change it.
Yeah. So I have a number of lead magnets. I can tell you right now, the one lead magnet I've probably had for the longest time is the free software consultation. I've had it for over 2 years.
Oh my God, I was going to say, that's a very rich lead magnet. That's really...
It's a very rich lead magnet, and it's probably helped me make the most revenue, that particular lead magnet, right? So it's very high value. Obviously, it is time consuming, quote unquote, but is it really time consuming if you're going to get a customer for a long time? Like, you know what I mean? What's the cost of opportunity here?
Can I point something out?
Totally.
So Iran does this. It's a super high value thing. It is his time, but he knows the lifetime value of the, of like these conversations, of these meetings, right? I mean, you've like, it's clearly worth it. So you want to be careful that you want to know your business and know your, return on investment. And, Aran, you're very clear that that's something that's like totally worth doing.
Yeah. And this is, you bring up a really good point. See, the lifetime value of a free software consultation. Let's just pretend that I recommend somebody to use a software like Kajabi. Let's just pretend for a second. It's probably the best one. So I'll do a lower example. Let's just say System, right? And somebody uses my affiliate link, $197 a year. I get 50% of that. So I've just made $98, give or take, right? And I'm going to get $98 every year for as long as the person is a customer. Let's just pretend that I do one software consultation per day for the next 3 years, right? And you get just one sale per day for the next 3 years, which I know it's actually quite a lot, right?
But how about we do it per week, even like one a week?
Yeah, one a week. It does add up after a while. It really does start to add up, right? So, and again, me offering a free software consultation, it's because I know that lifetime value. That's why I know the time is worth it. Whereas for you, it might be a different story. So you just got to evaluate what's good. But I think it's relevant to the point of how often do you change? Well, once you find something that's successful, well, don't change it. You can add more to test to see maybe you'll find something more successful. But if something is working, why change it? I think is the main thing. I've got a sales page template that I've had that for probably 2 years. And I probably made at least 500 customers from that, at least. The other one was 9 email marketing tips, basically. So that was 2 pages, simple 2-page PDF, and that's done well.
Nice. Can I add it? If anyone is advanced in their business, they're doing a lot of blogs, they have a lot of leads coming in. You can do, secondary, or you can do additional lead magnets if and put them on different blog pages as appropriate. Like obviously you have a lot of content around, and so you're able to place your lead magnets as appropriate. But definitely if you're starting out, don't worry about that. But if anyone does have a lot of content online, you might want to think about branching out to like a separate lead magnet if something pops up. And you can add an additional lead magnet depending upon what content someone's, looking at of yours.
Yeah. To your point, also from the training. So I think it was my second lead magnet was like a course with like 30 videos, just So, and that lead magnet, I remember I had probably about 50 people sign up for it. Nobody did the course. I got no customers from it. It was a total waste of time. And I spent 3 weeks doing it, right? I was in my 9 to 5 at the time, and I'd stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning to record videos. And I did this. I literally spent 3 weeks doing it, and like I got nothing out of it. So keep it simple, Yeah. Okay, next one. Most important takeaway. Highlight the main action before asking them to join your social media. Great. Best takeaway, do not overwhelm. Yep, absolutely.
Coachella.
Can a lead magnet have a low price? $7.
It can absolutely, yeah. So the philosophy here is that if someone is making a micro commitment, even giving you their email address is considered to be a micro commitment. So maybe $7 is actually just like a regular old commitment in marketing world. When someone spends money on, basically spends money on anything you have, like when someone buys from you, they are much more likely to buy from you again. It's a sign of trust. Those are considered to be higher, just like more qualified, like a higher quality in terms of, likely to buy, not quality of people, like judging their quality of person or character, but literally just like someone who's more apt to buy from you again and to continue on in your your sales process, like to buy more expensive training or services from you. So Cheryl, absolutely, And $7, I mean, you know, your ideal clients probably wouldn't blink at a $7 thing, you know? So absolutely, that can be a powerful way to get, you know, stronger, more qualified, they call it, leads.
Yeah. I'd consider somebody who's done that more to be a buyer by that stage, no? I would consider them, I would consider a PDF or something or a video, but it's $7. I'd consider it more of a product versus a lead magnet, no?
But it absolutely, it can get you qualified leads, like,
Right.
because it's such like a loss leader, like you're just like throwing it out for like a really
Right.
low price,
Very true.
because they are getting out their credit card.
Yeah, totally. Okay, next question. How to create a PDF quiz? We could write the questions, but how do we configure the results?
So let's see. Sylvia can you tell me what kind of thing you do? But basically, so I did one for some coach. It happened to be a couple who coached people as a couple. A couple of coaches who were a couple, and it was literally, kind of like, how are your boundaries? And this was like many years ago when there wasn't like as much stuff on YouTube and stuff about like personal boundaries and that kind of thing. And it literally was, in this situation, what answer would most match what you would do? And so at the end, they said, in section 1, how many things did you check? Or, section 2, how many things did you check? And if you checked, 1 to 5 things, we'd say, well, you're pretty healthy boundaries. If you checked, 5 to 10 things, definitely want to kind of work on that. If you checked 10 to 15, like red alert kind of thing. So it can be as simple as that. And, people are interested in learning about themselves, right? Quizzes are popular because we are, we're kind of like self-interested as human beings usually. It's interesting. It's like, tell me more.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps. Sylvia, you have a chance to explain what you do. Maybe I can give you some more help on that, more specific help.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Next
question.
question.
And then, by the way, in the beginning of the quiz, say, to get the most value out of this quiz, don't, look at the answers. Like, don't, so don't, like prejudice yourself about your answers. Like do the quiz in order, and then, look at the last page to self score.
The self-evaluation. Yeah. How many lead magnets should we have?
1 is great when you're starting out.
1, no more. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I just mentioned the multiple in case anyone was further on ahead and
more advanced, yeah.
Further in their business. Yeah.
Totally. And if you've got one that bombed, like mine, then just scrap it and just don't even bother. Like, you won't even find that mini course anymore. It's, somewhere hidden in my WordPress site,
Yeah.
So so just, bin it and move elsewhere. Done is better than perfect. Absolutely.
Oh, and I want to point out too, probably similar to the slide issue. The overwhelm issue on my slides. Is anybody else getting an echo? Is that just me?
No, it's all good, I think.
Okay, great. We, as experts, I don't know any expert that doesn't do this. Okay, it's just like happens. We have expertitis, right? We know what we know. We know sometimes way too much about something. We have all this very specialized knowledge, and we're like, oh yeah, well that's blah 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 blah, like, and people are like, whoa, wait, start from square one, right? So keep in mind that something might seem super simple to you, like ridiculously simple, can be really valuable to your ideal market. So sometimes ridiculously simple and short and sweet. Like I said, helping them with one issue they might have. I mean, it could literally be naming your lead magnet. Like, what do I name my lead? I got this thing, what, like, I don't know how to title it. I want a good title. I want a catchy title. Like, how do I do that? Right? So that could be like helping someone with one specific issue.
Yeah.
I cannot emphasize that enough. The more focused and pointed, the better. And the easier it is to advertise because you're like flagging this one issue. Easier it is to market your lead magnet.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a few people resonate with the expertitis. I agree.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'll vouch for that myself personally. I mean, I think I'm so guilty of that mistake, sometimes. Like in the previous session we did co-working, and I was explaining about, somebody asked a question, what's your recommendation versus Google Docs versus using Pages on a Mac? And I explained what Google Docs does and how it works. And, there was a couple of people, it's like, and I'm thinking Google Docs, it's like, but we forget, because we've come, and there's a course that I did, and they call it the curse of knowledge is how they labeled it, right? So you kind of get to that stage where because you're an expert, you forget what it's like to be a beginner a little bit. Sometimes you just do.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So cool. All right. Great points. Great questions. I don't think I missed any. All right. There's one more that I missed. So let's answer that, and then we'll move on to some reviews. So Amy said, I have 2 lead magnets, one 4 months conversation starter sent over a longer time. The second one is a live paid workshop. I think, is that one of the things we're going to review? Is that one of the lead magnets you have to review, actually? Amy's?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So 4 months of conversation starters sent. Amy, how long do you send that over? I'm curious. Because I have a real specific point I want to make with that once I know. Live paid workshop. Curious how long and what the price point is on your live paid workshop.
I think it's $20.
Because that's more like a mini course, right? That's a little bit. That's a little bit less of a lead magnet and getting into like that's just kind of.
It's a buyer. By that stage, it's a buyer, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's live, because it's a lot live and everything, that feels more like just a mini course. It's not really a lead magnet. Amy, I would love to see you pull an element out of these things and have a much smaller, faster, the workshop might be short, but I mean, it's great that you're doing the workshop and great that you're charging for it. But for lead magnet, and it's great if you're getting buyers, right? But I would still pull something out of that and have a more focused lead magnet. Because 4 months of conversation starters, that's like that's like a lot. Because I think about that and I'm not clear on exactly what it is. So I'm just speaking off the cuff if this doesn't apply to that exact lead magnet. But when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh gosh, 4 months of conversations, it sounds like a lot of work. Literally, that's kind of like, it feels a little bit overwhelming to me. So just kind of little input, but I would like to know more about that.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll move on to reviews because I don't have any other comments besides that one. So, yeah. You have the first one you want to review?
Let's see. Yes. Okay. Amy, 2 months.
Oh, 2 months. There you go.
Yeah. Gosh. I would literally cut it down to like a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I would just literally, because you want to give them a taste, right? You don't want to kind of hit them over the head with like, now you have all this stuff to do. Like if they really want that stuff, a taste is going to whet their appetite, right, to buy from you. It's hard to be creative with lead magnets. It seems like it's all made up. How do you mean all made up? One topic and 3 conversation starters. I love that, Hillary. One email with one topic.
Yeah, love that.
Sure.
Way simpler, easy to consume, and easy to implement, and not overwhelming.
Yeah, Sylvia, curious what you mean by it's all made up. I'm not sure what you mean. And Sean, the curse of knowledge. It's a good curse to have, but we have to manage that, right?
Yeah. Love those suggestions, Hillary. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Awesome. Let's get into reviewing some of the lead magnets you have. Yeah. Tell me when you want me to share.
Okay.
Thanks, Hillary, Amy, Sylvia, Sean, Lisa, Cheryl,
Yeah, everyone who shared.
Teresa,
And for
Catherine, Leah, and anyone else that I may have missed. Susan. Awesome.
And anyone else who's just here absorbing. Okay,
yes. Sylvia, on lead magnets, you can be original. You just gotta test. It's just a matter of testing, right? So you just gotta shift that aspect of your thinking, because of course some of them are similar, but that's the whole point of branding and standing out. You just gotta try something new and someone and brainstorm, right? And see what other people are doing and seeing how you can be different.
So, Iran, like, what do you have any checklists, for example, Iran?
As a lead magnet?
Yeah. Or can you think of a checklist that you might make? I just want to show somebody an example.
A checklist? Let me just think. I don't have a checklist as a lead magnet.
Or a like just a checklist you can think of that you have in one of your trainings.
Yep.
Or a video or something.
I do.
Just like what the name of it is, just literally.
So there's one checklist in my beginner's guide to email marketing, and it basically says 10 things to check before sending an email.
Okay. So Ron's valuable checklist is something to check before you send an email. That's so specific, right? And how many people could use that? I could use that, right? Yeah. That's not going to be the same checklist as someone who's helping, expats, right? It's just what you're just doing, even though they're both checklists, or they might be both checklists, the content is entirely different. So I think that the format can be similar. Sometimes we have similar formats, but the naming and the content can be so different, and it really is pointed to your ideal clients. So I guess that's where I see that the creativity and the the difference comes in.
See, I didn't even think about that being a lead magnet, but it is a really good. It's a good lead magnet, actually. Just thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Just that 10 things to check before you send an email out.
So yeah, I'm going to do one that's going to be super short. Literally, it might be like 3 to 5 items, and it's the top 3 or 5 things to make sure of in anything you write, because I'm a copywriter, in any of your marketing that will make your copywriting 100% more effective. So these are really like top tips that I see everyone doing or not doing. Yeah. So something like that, just distill it down to super high value.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Which screen do I share? Do I share one of your screens now?
So you can share my screen.
Yeah, there you go. So I see Karen. So the first one is going to be Karen Kelly. We'll review her lead magnet, and I'll let you take it away.
Well-balanced women. beautiful. I love the design. It's clean. You notice the fonts are pretty similar. She has her, whoops. Why? Oh, this is, whoops, page 1 of 5. I'm not sure. Hold on. Okay. I don't use this as much as I should. All right, let's get a little smaller. I hope you guys can see this even if I make it a little smaller. So love, this is, I'm going to give you a bunch of little tips here that are not necessarily about copywriting, but it's about marketing in general. Karen is facing her message. This is really important psychologically. If it were reversed, she would literally have her back to the message. So you always, in all your pictures, you want someone facing towards the information, right? This is great. Love the clean design. Okay, so 5 steps to lose belly fat. I'm raising my hand. That sounds good to me. Definitely, I'm over 50. I want to feel good in my body. Great message, Karen. Create a plan, develop habits, nutrition, exercise, and okay, create a plan, develop habits. You know, she doesn't just say step 4 is exercise in a way that brings you joy and move your body, right? This is juicy. This is like, I want to be joyful. I want to move my body. I want to, you know, that sounds like way more fun than like working out, right? So be mindful of kind of what you're calling things, even if they're just steps in your lead magnet. Recognize and manage stress. Awesome. And she's got testimonials. Okay, this positions her as an expert who has helped other people. And they're short, they're nice. Karen, the only thing is, and this is something that most designers don't know, if a lot of people are going to be consuming your PDF, and this is for everyone, online, right? So we're going to be looking at it on a screen like we are right now. And the fact is that online is a lot lower resolution. That just means that there's less kind of detail in the image. It's literally like 72 dots per inch versus a printed, something that's, you know, like a, anyway, I don't have anything that's printed. A printed image, this printed image on paper is going to be 300 DPI, dots per inch. So what that means is things get kind of like less clear visually easily. And when you italicize print, it's harder to read. So everybody can just kind of look at these lines up here in this non-italicized font are easier to read, right? Once you get down to these. So Karen, I would just say this is great. If you get a chance to update this with your graphic artist, or if you did this, kudos to your design. Just, you know, they're already set off in boxes. Just take the italics off. I know so many people use them, but they're not really great. They're harder to read on screen. If you want to do like one word or like a big title in italics or something, that is easier to read, like your name here, right? It's also a very personal touch. Okay, I am going to point out that you've got your back to your message here. And while it's kind of interesting to get like you facing one way in the first page and facing the other way on the other page, psychologically, I would absolutely reverse this so that your back isn't to your message, okay? It's kind of like when people have images of people walking away from the picture, that seeing their back. We're really face-oriented, right? Like psychologically, so we want to make sure to see that beautiful smile and that lovely face, and we want it to be facing your message. So just a little hint there. And okay, that's great. Now she has, so let's look at the elements. This is me. I want to share with you the formula to help women. Okay, so to help women lose belly fat, keep it off. You are restating the value of this. It's awesome. Okay. And this is to find out more. Okay, so this is one where, and I know this is like, so it seems like such a small detail, but especially when people are skimming, I would reorder these so that you have a more specific, well, okay, so I'd reorder them. I'd put this contact you, right? Options to work with you. I would put that first. I would probably put it in bold, and I would rephrase it. What exactly do you want them to do? Like, contact me, and let's talk, like to have a conversation with you. Email me about, any questions you have. The more specific you can get, the better. And, there's no harm in asking for someone to like have a call with you, to hop on at the Zoom. I mean, unless you're worried about like how many, or you can even say like, I have, 5 slots a week that I hop on Zoom with people, like get them while you can, contact me kind of thing. And I would literally put that in bold. And then this Facebook group and the free information, right? Less effective for getting a sale. Put that second, or, oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead here. You do have book a strategy call to discuss steps to move forward. That should be the first one. It should be, I wouldn't even do 1, 2, and 3. I would just put that in bold. And then, let's see. Okay. This is unclear if your VIP community sounds like something that's a paid membership. So again, you're putting the free before the more effective things. So just reorder those. Okay. I would actually get rid of this one that says when you're ready to take your health to the next level. I would work that into book a strategy call. Like, so when you're ready to take your health to the next level, you really want support with this, let's hop on a Zoom and chat. So calling it a strategy call, I'm not a fan of it because that's your strategy, right? That's not about me as a potential client. I don't want to be strategized, right? Let's hop on a Zoom and let's chat about, where you're at and, what support you need. So make it about them. And anyway, I'm doing the expertise. I'm going off into copywriting land, but you get the idea, hopefully. So yeah, I would, and then I would take the Facebook group thing and put it on the bottom after we have a dynamic VIP community, because that sounds a lot more interesting to me than the free information Facebook group. Okay. So hope that helps. But kudos, beautiful color, beautiful design, really nice. And like, I like that it's short, but it's not like sparse.
Let's show Beth some love on this wonderful review. I think you brought up some really good points. I loved the last thing you said about the, let's get on the Zoom and chat to see
Right?
how it can support you, or how you can be supported. How did you say it again? It was just really good. It was really gentle.
Yeah,
it was really
like
about them.
to check in on where you're at, right? And meet them where they're at. Excuse me. and see, what did I say?
How we
That's
can
the problem with
support you.
copywriters is sometimes stuff
Again,
comes out.
I'm gonna have a transcript of this.
So see where you're at, and see what support you need.
Yeah.
Not even
Yeah.
how I can support you, because that's about you. Like, see what you need.
Yeah.
So there's like a tone difference there, right?
100%.
Really, like, even when you're talking about you as the expert and about what you do, make it about them. It's kind of a mind Jedi copywriting trick you have to do, is even when you're talking about yourself, make it about them.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay. And we
Awesome.
have Hillary's beautiful brand is Community Bloom, and Community Bloom's guide to find your Fab 5 for a great day. Little hint, you don't need the www anymore if you have a .org or .com. I think people, so you can always simplify your URLs. Just leave it as Community Bloom. It's beautiful. Love this cover. Love the colors. I'm such a fan of this French blue, by the way. And here's Hillary. Welcome, welcome. A big, this is like a really, really big usability thing. So it's really easy to kind of center things. It kind of feels balanced to us. But when we are reading more than like 1 or 2 lines of text, our eyes are used to things being left aligned, which is that everything's, all the lines start equally in line, just like, let's see if you have any. Okay, this section is left aligned, okay, or left justified. It's kind of, you know, how like a book would read. So you want to, anything over like 2 lines, you want to try to left align so that it's easier to read. Believe me, believe me, believe me, it's so much easier to read. And people will often be skimming your stuff or scanning your information. So you want to make it as scannable as possible, as easy to read as possible. This text, because it's white on a dark background, is getting a little thin. So it's going to be a little harder to read. This text is called a non-serif font. And this text down here is a serif font. You can look up the difference online, but one is just a cleaner font, and then these little serif fonts have all these little kind of details, all the little like bits and pieces at the end of the letters. Online viewing, which is why if you look at your computer right now, everything on the screen except the image that I'm showing you is going to be a non-serif font. You want it, except for things like your name in cursive and maybe like these titles in the kind of fun, playful font. You want everything for reading, like the main part of your content, to be in a non-serif font. Okay, so that's true for your websites as well. Anything that websites, emails, anything online, non-serif fonts are going to be better. That's literally why everything in your Gmail user interface, everything on Facebook, everything is a non-serif font. So see what's being used for hints about what's effective. The other thing is, not everyone prints things out. Okay, I guess not that many people print things out, but some people do. And if you're sending a guide that people might refer to, they might print it out. I personally never print things out. But if it's something that they might print out, having a colored background is really, really, really not user-friendly because it's going to use up all their ink. So that is a design thing to take into consideration. It really can, you know, it's kind of like just not a user-friendly kind of design thing. And again, this is things that a lot of designers don't even think about. But depending upon your audience, right, you want to consider. Okay. This is a really cool design thing, but it's not practical. So 0 through 04, 01 to 04, like I don't even know really what that is. I mean, it might be page numbers, but it's not clear. So I would just put the starting page that it's on, and I would not use the zeros. It's kind of like odd. You want to keep really clean and simple and usable. Okay. And then also watch out for your fonts, because as this fun font gets smaller, it gets harder to read against the dark background, right? So watch your fonts. Clear. It's just like in copywriting. I love my witty, cutesy things, but sometimes it's just not as clear as just saying things very clearly and simply. Same thing with design and fonts. Sometimes simple is going to be way, way better. Okay. So definitely I would actually just make these headings bigger, and that'll help a lot. Okay. So I'm throwing a lot of design things at y'all. Even this font is a little hard to read smaller, so I would only use this font bumped up quite a bit. And here's also this is an information design kind of thing. It's kind of information design is like how you put information out and how it's easiest to be consumed and understood. These two lines are too far apart. You can go into paragraph and line spacing and tighten these up, because our eye wants to group things, right? And this phrase, how to use this workbook, is not right now, it looks like two separate things. It's not grouped together. So you want to make sure these lines aren't too far apart. So you can play with the spacing on this. Again, I would try to left align. So this is a great example. These two lines are clear. If these two lines were the only thing on this page, go for it, have it centered. I can read that pretty quickly. But once you get into anything longer than 2 lines, I would definitely left align it. I love that you are, uh-oh, I hope I didn't just click on that. Yes, I did. Oh, I'm sorry. I never use my mail, so when I click on things, it opens up the wrong thing. Hillary, you have your contact information here. That's great. This is getting so in the weeds, but when you use all caps, it is harder for us to read compared to up and down text, which is like the regular kind of capital for the first letter or first. So these words that I'm highlighting here are easier for us to read because they have the up and down. They're literally easy for our eye. So headings can be all caps, right? But when it comes to something that you want people to be able to like read and retype, I mean, yes, they can click on it, which is great. So they don't necessarily have to know exactly how your website is spelled. They can click on it. But say like this one isn't hyperlinked. So say they wanted to find you on Instagram, and they need to type in Community Bloom. It would be a lot easier to read if you had community, uppercase C, lowercase community, and uppercase B and lowercase loom, in that case. So Community Bloom spelled in these mixed caps more. And that's for everybody. So that's a great point as well. What the eye does, by the way, is our eyes see this as one block instead of words. It's easier to recognize words when they're up and down. So I always encourage, like for headings, that's great. That looks great. It's easy to read. It's one word. But for your email addresses and things that you want people to remember, like your brand, I would up and down it. I would use mixed caps, they call it. Again, I would left align it. Cute little graphic or photo that makes your point. And rituals, I would just call these out. So when you put things in parentheses, by the way, they seem a little less important to us. So instead of parentheses, I would just bold it and put it maybe as a heading: mental, spiritual, physical. Might want to think about like slightly juicier. And your morning rituals, let's see, things like shower could be combined with hygiene. And I would, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would make these, like Hillary's 7 morning magic like 7 steps to morning magic, or 7, magic morning rituals, or, to kind of put something playful in there. I know I'm overdoing it on the magic, but you get the idea. Just, something that kind of is kind of catchy. And I would literally break it up into, like quantify it for people. And it's like, okay, 7 things. Cool. And again, I like how clear this is, left aligned. Got your yummy drink picture in there. I would keep this simple. I would take away this this extra picture over on the right. It's nice and clean, gorgeous photo, really beautiful colors. I would probably break these up somehow so they're, well, actually, I would right align those as well, because it's hard to kind of see them as a list. All right, tips. Again, I probably said right aligned. I'd left align those. And the 2 pictures, you only need 1. I would get rid of this. I know the bloom aspect is your brand, but I would get rid of this black and white behind it and just keep this, the picture of the lady. And I love that she's looking at the information. That's great. Good choice there. Watch your margins down here. We're losing some of this line. And then step 1, ask yourself, okay, and see this lady is looking towards the information. That's awesome. I like your graphics. Again, I would just make this plate picture bigger and get rid of the black and white behind it. It's not adding to it. It's kind of too busy. Okay, it's like, I love the blooms. I love flowers. Like everything I have has flowers on it. I would be like the floral copywriter if I could, if it would be a decent brand. But I love Community Bloom. It works much better with your brand. But again, just to keep it on point with this nourish page, take the flowers out, keep the make the plate bigger, the plate picture bigger. See, I love how I love these colors. Your photos are really, really nice. And I would actually bump them up a little bit, and if you can make the white border around them a little smaller, I think it would be even more impactful. Again, this is so fun. 2 women enjoying their company and exercising. So make that bigger, and I would not do the black and white behind. You do keep this motif. You have your brand throughout, so don't worry about getting rid of those floral pictures behind. I feel like I'm speaking too fast. I hope I am not. I love this. Yeah, I love your questions. So on the chapters, I actually wouldn't call them chapters, because chapters feel kind of like long to me. I would actually call it like step. I would kind of, because it's action oriented, right? I would get rid of the chapters and call them steps. And I would make this graphic a lot smaller and make this bigger. Might even put the step, what is it, chapter 3? Sorry about the movement, you guys. I would do like step 3, start your gratitude journal. I'd have that kind of above the image, or make the image a lot smaller. Okay, emphasize the words. So these are like kind of 2 intro pages that are kind of unnecessary. I would tighten that up and get rid of 1. Now, y'all, this is an example of Hillary is giving us a lot here. I don't think it's too much. I think it's really good. Hillary, you could actually scale this down. But I just want to point out that this is so cool. This journal, date, mood, daily journal, your thoughts, goals to do. Okay, this is super simple, but it's valuable for somebody who is looking to focus and to kind of manage a lot of these aspects of her life. And I say her because I'm pretty sure that Hillary's market is, she's marketing to women and serving women. And specifically, Hillary, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I would actually consider making this journal its own lead magnet. You could literally have like, however many pages of this repeated, put a cute cover on it, have an intro page message that is restating the value of this journal and tips on how to use it. And literally, that's your lead magnet. Super cute. I mean, like you could have like one page, of like, your journaling practice steps or something, but you literally, that's all you'd have to do to have a really nice lead magnet. Let me know in the comments, and let Hillary know in the comments what you think of my idea. Just because it's just so like, the design's appealing. It's it's like things to do and think about, but it's not. In terms of, if I fill this out, I'm doing something that's positive, and this is like a win for me, but it's not overwhelming, right? So I really like that idea, if I say so myself. But let me know what you guys think. Conclusion. That sounds like a report or a book. I would just make this bigger. Thank you for joining me. Okay, I know you're in a community, but you want to talk to, you want to connect one-on-one with your client. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Or even kudos to you for consciously walking your path, for getting the support you need on your journey. Okay, like really, really client-centric. What did you discover that was most helpful for you? This question might be moved more to, where you might say, connect with me. So this is about your membership, but it's not an invitation. So this is information about your membership, but it's not an invitation. So I would put after, kudos to you for consciously supporting yourself on your journey, walking your path with a full heart, and care for yourself and others, that kind of message. Then I would put the invitation. I invite you to look at our membership. You don't have to hit people over the head. As strong as you're comfortable making it, even maybe a little stronger than you're comfortable, probably would be good, because here I'm seeing that you are kind of putting it out, you're describing it, but you're not inviting me to it. Okay, so so that's a thank you for working on this guide to find that funny. Please share. Okay, so yeah, this is I would get rid of this thank you here, because you want to give them kudos at the top of the page. And by the way, the kudos can be like a bigger font, right? Get rid of conclusion, just like, wow, kudos to you kind of thing. That could be your heading. And then this, please share and tag us in the Community Bloom Facebook page or Instagram. I would invite them to like join. I'm not sure exactly what the invite to tag would be. I would, follow, join our Community Bloom Facebook page, or follow us on Instagram kind of thing. I would change that. Alrighty. And then, okay, so then you have an invite, need more insight and support. So I would move this invite up to this page, okay? And I would, I would actually get rid of this page and move the invite information up. So you can cut a lot of what was on this page in terms of description. You can leave it in, but you can also like fit more on the page if you right align it. And you can put some of this on that the previous page, right? But I would, and this masterclass, I'm not really, find your Fab 5 masterclass. That's hard, kind of, I like kind of skipped over it. Find your Fab 5. So it's kind of not clear like what this is. And then join the masterclass. I'm kind of like, well, I'm not clear what it is. You were just describing your community. So see what I mean? So you want to be real clear with your invite. All right, Hillary, thank you for giving us such a beautiful PDF to comment on and for your willingness to get feedback. I know that was a lot. So, but beautiful colors, beautiful design, definitely very, 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 with some adjustments, this is like fabulous. Let's see, this is a lot, but I like how it's spaced out. So again, keep this, just put, page, whatever, and then be sure to update your table of contents here with your new things. And don't be afraid to make, you can even do I would say instead of an introduction, I would say like welcome, and you can just do like page 1, kind of thing. So you can make that heading a lot bigger. All right, sorry, this is my real-time editing that I'm this is what I would be doing to your content if I were if this is how I'd be like changing it. So I'm just kind of editing out loud here. Hope it's not overwhelming. Ron, I want to take a breather to if anyone has questions.
We pretty much had a lot of comments. Just Lisa said, such great tips. Thank you, Beth. We had Hillary saying, wow, thank you for all the feedback. Cheryl said, so many great tips. Thank you. Susan said, love the journal lead mag idea. Great. A perfect example is my lead mag is similar to hers, and I know I need to refine and scale it back.
Great, Susan. That's great insight.
So lots of good feedback. You are amazing. Very good. Loving this feedback. Oh my God, I'm blown away learning so much. Awesome.
Finding it in the weeds. Yes, Susan, sometimes I go micro, but try to keep it macro. I go micro to serve the macro, right?
Yeah, totally. No, it's great.
Specific fonts, Susan. Easy to read. Susan asked, do you have suggestions for specific fonts? Easy to read. You can find font pairs on, and this is the thing is, kudos to Hillary. I am not a designer, but I have worked with designers and I have edited and helped support so much marketing design go out the door that I'm, I can comment on what's better. I am not the person to like take your information and design it. You don't want me designing it. You saw from my slides, I am not a graphic designer. But in terms of resources, so Susan, you can look up font pairs, and they'll have pairs like Hillary was using of that kind of playful font and then a real clear font like she was using, like fonts that kind of pair well together. And sometimes they're very different. And you want to watch just to make sure that, how big or small you're getting them. You don't want like a real scrolly font unless it's going to be like really big, like a big title where it's clear. And if run it by somebody, and if they have if it's a little bit hard to read at all, don't use it, right? Like we want to err on the side of consumable, right? So easily consumable. You want your message to get across. Well, okay. I will tell you it's more important for your message to get across than for it to be pretty or hip or playful or any of that. Okay, so don't let, and you working with designers, you all who might work with a designer, really got to watch them, because so often, so often, they'll do something that's fabulous design that is not as easy to read or not clear. Case in point, do I have any like business cards? I have a business card. This is to a local restaurant owner. So, someone will like back in the day when we were going to events more, someone would hand me a business card, and I'd be like, and I don't even wear reading glasses yet. I'm close, but I'm like, you serve people 40 and over or 50 and over, and your business card is like microscopic. Like, that's not user friendly, right? I mean, this is not an example of that, but believe me, I've gotten business cards that I'm like, oh, lousy, like this is very hard to read, and your ideal clients are not, but some 25-year-old designer did a fabulously designed card with microfont. So that's just an example of usability, right? So, I mean, my slides, that font was like huge, but I thought, someone has, watching this on a iPad, or smaller notebook, or even their phone, maybe, like I just wanted the point to get across, and it's not super pretty, but clear is always best. So yes, make it about them, Sylvia. Great. Face your message. Yes. And we want to see faces, right? If you get a graphic like this, maybe if you're talking about someone being stressed or whatever, or like this, that could be appropriate. But really watch about like when pictures of people in your marketing where we're not seeing their eyes and their face. Okay, we want to make sure to see faces, because we're all like our brains are designed to see faces. Meet them where they're at, exactly. And meeting them where they're at is absolutely could be at a very basic level. Like Iran is saying, like some people are like, oh, Google Docs. I mean, like that literally could be a lead magnet of like getting the most out of Google Docs for solopreneurs or something. Or introduction, and like how to use Google Docs powerfully.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Sylvia, to harken back to our previous conversation, I have a lead magnet that is a checklist and a guide to getting started as a virtual assistant. Oh, wow, that's great. I have a Trello board for course creators. Oh, wow, Trello board. So that's like a template kind of a thing, but it's where they can plug and play into their Trello board. That's really valuable. Checklist and guide to getting started as a virtual assistant. I would say those could be two different lead magnets. You might play with just a checklist. I don't know, it depends. If the guide is a kind of a high-level overview, that could work, right? Sometimes people think more is better. Iran, what's your opinion? Because I know, like Stu, for instance, with his memberships, his PDF, his lead magnet is probably super thorough. His course is even more thorough, but he wants to give people like so much that they can almost go and do the whole thing with his lead magnet. Of course, they can't quite, right? Which is why he wants, to market his course, and why they should buy his course. But in your opinion, what do you think about like how-to guides that are super thorough? I know you have some really thorough resources available to people.
Yeah. So I think I know what I like personally. And when I have a PDF, it's short and to the point, and I can go and just implement one tiny thing from it, like it gives me one thing I can go and try, that to me is helpful. And I remember when there's certain lead magnets that I've actually saved, and I'm like, I read it, I open it, I browse through it, and after about 30 seconds, I make a decision. Was this helpful to me, or this is not helpful? And then I bounce, or I'm like, I love it. So I
Okay,
think
you have to tell them what bounce means.
I'll bounce. Like I'm closing it. I'm out of there. Like this is just like too much, too much. Maybe like your design tips were really good, because sometimes really it's just the design. Like even if the content was great, it's so badly designed. I'm like, this is just too difficult, right, to actually consume. right? So
Yeah.
definitely things being spaced out, I think is really important. But I definitely, as I've, let's put it that way, at the beginning, you'd always want to give more. And I think it's in our nature because we like helping people. We're like, we want to give more. But
And you
as
have a
I'm
lot to
getting
give. You have
smarter,
so much to give. Yes.
that's right. But I think as we're getting smarter, we will actually serve more people by giving them less at first, actually. So if you think long term, you'll probably be able to serve them better by not overwhelming them. As much as I love to give, like my most popular lead magnet is 9 email marketing tips to help with open rates, deliverability, and sales. That's the title, right?
Dude, that's a lot. That's great. Like super
Yeah.
valuable.
9 tips, 1 paragraph each, nine bullet points. It's 9 bullet points. It's 2 pages, and the call to action is go buy my Amazon book or buy
Boom.
my ebook or something.
Can you
And that
tell us
is
the
the
can
best.
you tell us the title again? Just because I love that.
9 easy to implement tips to help open rates, deliverability, and sales. Something like that.
That says it all, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to like? What's the benefit? Like the title totally sells it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Let me share it so people can visually see.
Awesome.
I mean, it is basic as like, I mean, it is so basic.
But basic and clear is so good.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Uno momento. Oh yeah, it's there you go. My call to action there. I did it at the time. I didn't even have my Amazon. I didn't even publish my Amazon book. So my call to action is it's actually an affiliate. I was selling an affiliate thing. So let me just share. Tell me if you can see my. Not yet. Hang on. Hang on. Bear with me here. There you go. Okay, so I'll show you the thing. Oops. Okay, can you see my screen properly?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so this is the thing. Thanks for downloading the freebie. 9 email tips. So 9 easy to follow email marketing tips to help with open rates, deliverability, and sales. In the first email autoresponder, I avoid sending any links for better deliverability. In the first email, I always ask them to reply. Can you please do me a favor and reply? Give them a little script and reply to this email. Get people to reply to your automated emails. Tell Google that the receiver is interested in your email, hence to increase deliverability. Subject line should create mystery. Sending blog posts. Title, ask for referrals. Tell people to unsubscribe. Give back.
I want to point out to everyone, this is super valuable and it doesn't even have to be like, it's not highly designed, right? It's information, it's value.
Yeah.
So like, if you're worried about, oh, I have to get something designed, just, getting this out and you will be serving people with something as clean and simple as this. Yeah. So definitely don't wait for design to put something out. Unless maybe you're a designer, like if you're like a graphic designer or something that's like very germane to your, to the example. But for most of us, information support is the value.
Yeah, yeah, and to the point of why we are working in an online business, this particular lead magnet has actually made me money, right? Like I've actually had people who downloaded it. I probably had, I'd say 400 email subscribers from this lead magnet, and I'd estimate definitely over 10 grand in sales from people that came from that particular lead magnet.
Nice.
Right? So, I mean, it's really not fancy. It's literally Google Doc converted into a PDF. That's all it is.
Right. Yeah. And I love the big fonts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so there
I
you go.
I happen to work mostly off of a rather small MacBook Pro, so
Mm,
you know, I'm usually kind of bumping things up in terms of you know, when things are teeny tiny.
yeah.
But yeah, that's great.
There's a question which is good. Is a small guide has total of 8
Oh,
steps? Oh, she's
Sylvia,
referring
great.
to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sylvia's guide and checklist. Then I think that's
yeah,
great. But I mean, keep in mind that you could pull your checklist out of that too, and probably have a, you know, a separate lead magnet if you wanted to. You know, just saying, like, it could be, you know, you could have that as well.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Hillary said, simple is better. Less information could be of greater value. Absolutely. Mobile friendly design.
very good
Yeah,
point,
very good
Hillary.
point. A
Um,
lot of people read their lead magnets on the mobile. I do.
yeah, I am really not the ideal client to talk about that because I really dislike consuming information on my phone unless it's like Twitter or YouTube. Um, I even have like a really big phone because I, I like to be able to see like the big pictures. Um, so that would definitely be something to Google. You know, best practices for mobile friendly design. Maybe even like, you know, tips for PDF, you know, in mobile PDF design, or you know, you can kind of Google those kinds of things. I would definitely look into that. Good point.
Mm,
And if anybody's a graphic designer, that would be a great lead magnet.
yeah,
Like
totally.
maximize your, you know, your marketing for mobile in
Yeah.
general. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Awesome. Yes, we agree. I think everybody agrees here. Awesome. All right. We have time for another one. If people want to stick around, if you have time and you're happy
I
to stick around, we've
I'm a
got
little
30 people. We've got
I,
30 people on the call, just so you know.
I could review these all day. It's kind of like my my zone of genius. So like I
Oh,
could
good.
review and verbally edit all day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Um,
Sylvia.
and then yeah, and then if anybody does need to leave or whatever, this replay will be available for the next 24 hours on the replay page. But if you're a VIP or in the all access pass, then you can grab it and you'll be able to refer back. This is a lot of really good tips that she went through. And yeah, if you want to keep going, I mean, we've got time. So yeah, you're welcome to go on to the
Thank
next,
you,
because
Sylvia.
we still have plenty. So
Okay. I'm actually a
yeah.
singer. My harping is like I'm a I'm actually a professional singer, so I'm glad my speaking voice always sounds a little odd to me, like everybody, right? So thank you, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll have to do like a copywriting guided meditation on copywriting.
Mm, totally.
No, I'm teasing. Okay. Let's see.
All right.
Um,
Tell me when you're ready
Dimitra,
for me to share the next one.
let's see. So, um,
While we're just getting the next lead magnet up on the screen, I'd love to know in the comments who doesn't have a lead magnet. If you don't, please don't be
yes,
shy. Please don't be shy and say me, no lead magnet. Or just say no if you don't have one, yes if you have one. Actually, make it really easy. No if you don't, yes if you do. And then Beth, you let me know when we're ready to do the when
I'm
ready
ready.
to. Are you ready? Okay, okay. Some love from Dimitra.
Podcast. Oh
Wonderful
yeah,
session. Thank
podcasting.
you. Yeah. Leah. Yes, Leah, we got you on the list. Okay. There
I don't
you
know
go.
if I have Leah's though.
Oh, I'll check. We can see your screen now.
Okay. Okay, this is Dimitra. It sounds like Dimitra is a Greek, uh, I should say modern Greek, I think, language teacher, looks like. I'm assuming modern Greek, because there's a whole like ancient Greek, ancient Latin world out there. Dimitra, I love your logo. So cute, and I love that it's kind of in a Greek font, right? And I will make this a little bigger. So first thing I would say is definitely will serve you to use non-serif fonts. So for example, the word alphabet is in a non-serif font, happens to be all caps, but that's okay because it's a heading. I would put, the Greek alphabet or something just to be clear on the heading. But all of everything else in this table is, excuse me, is in a serif font, which is going to be harder to read. So unless someone's printing it out, it's, serif fonts are fine for printouts. But it's also, the font's a little small, and I know you don't want to change the, you can change the font without changing the size of the font, and so you don't have to redesign the whole table. So hopefully you do have this in a format that you can change, and you can update these fonts to be non-serif. And I'd watch this little asterisk by pronunciation. It looks like it. You probably want it in front of the P, maybe. So this is a lot. I would almost want to. You might have it. You might let someone download it, offer it, deliver it as this JPEG, right? You might want to keep it separate. But I would also include a page or two on, tips for learning or memorizing the Greek alphabet, right? So I'd kind of add to it. Okay. I also don't know what the 15432 mean, right? So, a little bit that could be something that could be explained in your instructions or tips for using this resource, right? Again, going back to those elements of that you want in every lead magnet. And also, this is a small detail, but in terms of, especially with words that we're not used to. For instance, my last name is Bolwerk, okay? It's like an odd Dutch name. So it's not something that Americans usually, the spelling of my name is not, the combination of letters is not something that Americans can usually sound out and spell, right? My brand name isn't necessarily using my last name, so it's not that big a deal. But Dimitra, in terms of your .com and your brand, I would put this in mixed caps, meaning mixed case, sorry. Capital D for Dimitra, and then lowercase EMETRA, and then capital L, and then lowercase AMBROS.com. Okay, it's going to be a lot easier for us to learn. To read, and therefore it'll go in our memory. So I might remember, oh yeah, Dimitra Lambros. Okay, I can remember that. It just kind of helps with whether it's your brand name or your name. It helps it go into our brains. It helps us remember it if we can read it clear. Okay. So and Dimitra, your logo being in all caps is totally different because the font is super clear, and I can read it really simply, and it's a lovely, I just love it. It's super cute. I also love Greek design and stuff, so it's appealing to me personally, and I really like your navy, your colors. Yeah, I was gonna say, if someone prints this out, the navy background is a little dark. It's going to use up a lot of their ink. You might lighten it up. You might change that around. but it depends. Let's see, this is a resource that someone definitely might print out though, right? And it might be too hard to read on a phone, so it might not be great for like mobile. Okay, I'm going to Mitra's. So this is a checklist. So here we have okay, design note. I love this font, even though it's kind of playful, and you wouldn't want your main text in this font. It's okay for a title, right? It's also very matches your brand. Okay, you see how it's getting a little harder to read as let me move this a little here. See how it's getting a little harder to read as the font gets smaller, so you want to watch for that. You also might want to play with, this might or might not be clear bolded. It might not have a bold option, some fonts don't. But might or might not, I'm saying it might not because these E's, the E might get too hard to read if it's bolded. You have to just kind of play with that. And then a big usability thing in terms of readability is your background. Of course, like who doesn't want to look at a picture of a gorgeous Greek island, right? But in this case, it is having this white square be transparent is a little, it's getting in the way of reading the title, okay, the content. So you want to watch that. I'm not a fan of transparencies like this with font over it because of that reason. It makes it harder to read. So what I would actually do is I would make this white square a little smaller, even though the design is really nice right now, aside from the white square is a little too transparent. But you might want to make the white square a little smaller, not too tight, and then make it more opaque, so less transparent, so the title stands out a little bit more. And then foundation checklist. Might just call it a checklist. So I'm not sure if you need the foundation. Like I always look at, okay, is this word adding to the understanding of what this is, or is it not? So Greek language checklist. To me, that's pretty clear. I still know that I'm going to get, a checklist about the Greek language. So foundation, I'd probably get rid of the word foundation, okay? And in that case, you might even put Greek language checklist all on one line. You can make the white box even smaller because it's doesn't have to be as big as 2 lines. And then you will be able to see a little bit more of the picture behind it. Again, if that white box is a little less opaque, more opaque and less transparent. I love this because I am currently learning Italian. I love this as a language learner. It's a little goal sheet almost. Can I say the alphabet out loud? Can I read the alphabet? Can I read the written word? And can I reproduce it? Can I write it? Okay, so this is lovely. Let's see. The numbers, greetings, and well-wishing. So all these are really great. Oh, and you have some beautiful, fun pictures. I would make this, I would make the border around the pictures a little thinner if you could. I think it would kind of serve a little bit thinner border. Gosh, I love these pictures. Super fun. This is great. I love this. It's simple, it's clean, very helpful. So I wanted to highlight this as a great example of a checklist for someone who's a Greek language learner. Whoops, I must have done some kind of change here, sorry. And well-wishing checklist real quickly, also Dimitra's basic well-wishing checklist. In English, it's kind of not how we say it as much, well-wishing. I would actually Probably title this Basic Greek Well Wishes. I would probably title it that. Okay, so you can talk about it as when you're marketing this lead magnet as a checklist, but I wouldn't necessarily bother with the word checklist at the top. Now I'm totally curious. Yeah, Greek language checklist. Okay, so by the way, on your last one, instead of calling it checklist, you could say Greek language foundations or something like that instead of calling it checklist, or you could just call it Greek language checklist. I think I would go with Greek language checklist, and for this one, I would call it Basic Greek Well Wishes. I like this. I would darken this up because it's hard to read. So even I'm viewing it like pretty giant right now, and the yellow, life is good, and the little clock, a little hard to read, so I darken those up a little bit. But again, super clear. Noontime, this is funny. So noontime. I think in English that would probably translate to good afternoon, even though, so you have good afternoon, then you have good late afternoon. Might want to look at the translations of these, kind of like what's the kind of practical. This might be a little bit literal. So so this is an example of how you could add a tips and like how to use this resource. You can note, these translations are very are literal. So good noontime. That's how you wish someone good afternoon. That kind of thing. So you could have a little bit of an explainer. And here, your .com at the bottom, I would get rid of the www because everybody knows a .com when they see it nowadays, right? And I would capitalize the D and the L so we can read your name a little clearer, just like the last one, okay? So, but even the mixed case, or not mixed case, in this case, it's all lowercase. Even the lowercase is a little easier to read than a block of all capitals, okay? Like I said, I have no problems with all capitals in headings and that kind of thing, but harder to read all caps as like an Instagram address or a website or email. So love these as great examples of checklists. Let's see, and switching to Barbro. I feel like I'm Barbro. I feel like I'm saying your name wrong. I'm sorry. I am. So Barbara is our expat consultant and support guide coach. I'm not sure, I don't know your brand, so I don't know exactly what you identify as, but definitely international travel, expat, relocating and living in different countries. I take it is the kind of theme of what you offer. So this is an example of all cap. Whoops. Sorry, I really have a habit of highlighting what I'm talking about. So up at the top here, let's see if I can highlight this way. There we go. Nope. All right, sorry. The heading, International Travel Tips During COVID Times. First of all, you could get rid of times, just international travel tips during COVID. You can even say international COVID travel tips to make it really short. I'm always a fan of shorter is better because then the heading can be bigger and bigger with fewer words. Do you sense a theme here? Like tighter, more concise, and a bigger font is I'm a fan of. So I am not necessarily a fan of these large caps and small caps. That's what this style is. I would probably do it mixed caps where you have like just actually lowercase. I think it would actually look a little better. And also you're not consistent in that you're not making this T and this D. COVID is an acronym actually. So that's fine, all caps. But like, if you're going to use this style of these large and small caps, they're called, do use the large T and large D. But I actually would change it because I don't think it's as clear to read as regular regular capital and lowercase. This is also an example of it's harder to read this text in italics. So again, I would take the italics off of that. You want to set it off because it's kind of like an intro paragraph, but there are different ways to set it off. It might be a smaller font, might be a different font, but I would definitely take the italics off of that, okay? Because this is so much, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so used to highlighting. It's so much easier to read these other paragraphs because they are in a non-serif font. Oh, that's the other thing is the top paragraph is in a serif font, it looks like. So, Barbara, if you want to take the italics off the top paragraph, I would take it out of I would change the font myself out of the serif font. So the heading is serif. That's fine because they're headings. It's a title. It's bigger. It's like easier to read. But when you get a serif font in this smaller font size, it is harder to read. Okay. And the other thing too is this is another design element, you guys, or ladies and gentlemen, of contrast. And contrast is also an issue for accessibility for people who are not fully sighted or who have sight issues or are blind in terms of reading. So contrast is really good and just in general for people that, like right now, you have a kind of off-white background, and design-wise, I love the colors and stuff, but the off-white background is not going to be quite as much contrast against the black, or the font will not contrast as well against the off-white background as a white. So I would maybe lighten it up. If it's still off-white, I would see if you can play with the color and just make it like a little more white or just white. Let's see. Okay, again, I would capitalize, I would capitalize in your .com. I love how clear that font is, right? So see how clear that is? I would capitalize your first letter of your first and last name. And especially, I have to tell you guys, if anyone is marketing to Americans, I don't know about all of North America, but I can say for Americans, Americans are really bad at kind of seeing and kind of understanding foreign words. We don't have as much kind of, I don't know, kind of mental patience or like alacrity with it, maybe I could say. We don't see foreign words as well as cultures who are used to speaking different languages, even though we've got a ton of different nationalities and cultures represented in America. We are just very English centered. Like, typical American is monolingual, right? So as you coaches know, like Barbara and Demetra, you know about that. So I'm just saying, like, if you're marketing to Americans, you want to be extra clear when you have like a kind of harder for the typical American to pronounce name and that kind of thing. Just want to Make it extra clear to see and spell. One time, my name is Beth Bolwerk, and one time I was put on a mailing list as Betty Bohank. So just to give you an example of, people not hearing different words. Okay, so Barbara, to break up this this bunch of text, I would actually just bold these first phrases. So bold, check the expiration date on your passport. Okay, just bold it and then leave the rest as it is. Book a ticket, you can change if needed, bold it, so that even if someone's going to scan this and not read it all, because there are going to be people who are going to skim your information. As much as we want someone to pour over our creations, some people will just scan it. So they are still going to get value if they scan these bolded phrases. And visually, it's also a nice thing to break up text that's all kind of uniform like this. It helps our eyes, it helps us be more interested in it. This one's kind of long, but you could bold the whole first phrase. Please be aware that countries change their travel regulations often. And then there's a difference between arriving to a country and transferring. Like you could just bold that part. Anyway, you get the idea. So to break it up. At the airport, I would bold that, make it, I would probably make it, okay. The other thing, so this is why I'm noticing the contrast being an issue. Your text is in gray. And given that gray is not as strong a color as black against the background, and that your background is not white, it's doubly difficult, okay? So I would, you could go all out for clarity and do a white background and a black font. I would play with either one. I actually don't love gray fonts. I would actually just, even if you're going to keep the background off-white, I would use a black font for all of your text, okay? Or at least a more black if you really like the gray. It's hard to read. That's why it's harder to read. I don't know if y'all can see that, kind of get an experience. This font down here where it says important phone numbers and websites is a harder to read font because it's all caps and it's that. So I would probably keep that. I would just have it bolded and I would keep it in this regular font. I would change it to the regular font. It would be easier to read, but just this gives you a comparison of the gray font on this background and the black font on the background. You can see how much more the black font is stronger, clearer against the off-white background, okay? So this is great. Alrighty, so this is like a little bit of a guide, a little bit of a checklist. You could even say, prepare before you go checklist. Or checklist to do before you go, before you leave, kind of thing. So I like that. Let's see. We have Barbara's 50 tips for a glorious expat living. Okay, I love the edit. That's fun. It makes it juicier. And I really like, okay, so this is an example of where the transparent white bar doesn't really bother me that much because I can still read your heading. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I keep saying guys. I'm sorry. I have a helicopter going by. Hopefully you can't hear that too loudly. My place is so small, I need to get better lighting in here. So I often have the door open because of air and light. Okay, again, I take the www dot off. Let's see. So I think that the transparent bar works here because, again, I can read that. So, and the graphic is really, it's like, ooh, it's a cool looking city. You know, like, where's that? Looks kind of New Yorky or something. And then you have your logo. Actually, definitely, Barbara, on your logo, I would I would make that black. It might be gray, so you don't have to change your whole logo for me, but I would absolutely for sure make it the circle opaque white, because we want your logo and your name to like pop more. We love that. It's really, really clear but very attractive font use there. And there you are, gorgeous picture. I almost would switch it around and put your picture, just because, anyway, it's a toss-up, but you might want to play with if you like the picture better on the left because of the way you're kind of facing a little bit. Okay. I love this. I would make the green a little darker. I like that this is easier to read because even though you're using the gray font, it's a bigger font. Again, I know it's not a cool design thing, but I would capitalize the first letter of your names just to make it clear, okay? And I know so many people do lowercase, all their email addresses all in lowercase, but just to make it easier for us to read, and also because it's your brand, we're seeing it over and over again. It's like emphasizing your brand, really, right? So I like how clear but elegant your logo is too. Okay, so this is darker. I would like you to have this green font as dark a tone as this orange font, because that's easy to read. Okay, so great. Before you go, sorry, I'm just going to quickly here. Manage expectations. Manage expectations. Okay, I want to. I kind of feel like this should be different or not there. I would not repeat this heading on that fourth page. I guess it is. Oh, this is also another thing, is a lot of graphic artists will say, well, your first page, and then you have page 2. But actually, this would be page 1, or this would be page 1 of your actual content. Like if you look at books, the first page of the content, not the table of contents or the preceding pages. The first page will be number 1. Little detail, probably doesn't even matter, but I would not even put the page number on your note, because this is like your note to people. So let's see. Help expats in general and expat spouses in particular. Oh, that's that's a great niche. It's like niche. Get out of their overwhelm and live the expat life they dreamed of. Okay, so this is a little bit eye-centric. I would say here are the best tips I've gathered to help you, on various phases of your journey, okay? Like really speak to one individual client, okay? And then if you want to get in touch, take the want out. I'd love to hear from you, drop me a line kind of thing. Like make that an invitation and a direct one, right? Like get rid of try and want and all that stuff. Here's to your journey. So this is an example of make it conversational, like here's to your journey. So here's like the contraction. Here's to your journey is like kind of more conversational, right? So we want to keep it conversational. So again, on this second page, because I was expecting this heading to say something different than the first one, so I would get rid of that repeated heading. And here you have mindset. Okay, am I missing something? Manage expectations. So I would, get rid of the heading here. And then before you go, mindset can be a different section. And then I would get rid of it on the second page of the mindset, get rid of the heading. And then again here. And again, I would bold these kind of first phrases of these tips. Yeah, actually, especially because they're quotes of your ideal client might be saying to themselves, right? And then I am, like, we don't, like, we'll usually say, I'm not sure this is what I want to do. So use I'm, you know, like make it like, I'm not sure this is what I want to do. Like really make it conversational. Everyone or everybody keeps telling me I'm crazy to do this. Okay, that's great, right? Like literally she's taking phrases from her ideal clients and putting them. So people are going to relate to this. It's so much to do, I don't know where to start. Okay, so it's so much to do, I don't know where to start. So these are the things that you want to bold. And let's see, you are calling this, I have short attention span here, 50 tips. Oh, wow, okay. So that's a lot. I would consider for something this long, it is imperative, y'all, if you have a long resource like this, that you give people a table of contents and categorize things, okay? Let me just scroll down. Sorry for the scrolling. It's hard to see, I know. Preparation before you go. Okay, so we have sections here. Before you go needs to be its own section. When you arrive, I mean, it is its own section, right? But you need to call it out in the beginning. So have a table of contents. This is really, really key. So people aren't just scrolling through like, what is this? What is this? What if they're not worried about, if they're not worried about, when they arrive or preparing for what's next or when you have settled in. So, you want to give them a table of contents so that they can navigate quickly to the section they want to check out. They can absolutely read through the whole thing if they're like a researcher reader type like me, but we're kind of the rare people these days. I mean, I used to read the cereal box. Like I can tell you the USRDA of, riboflavin or however you say it, like for most cereals on the market because I constantly read, right? I've just been like that. I am not the norm. And definitely, so I want to recommend that you either cut this down into like the top 20 tips, travelers kind of thing. Or, I mean, like imperative for this lead magnet, which I think is a little bit too much. Tell me what you think, y'all. I mean, I would love to get this as someone looking to relocate. But I am the reader, so if anybody wants to weigh in, now granted, the people on the call might not be looking to travel extensively or might not be looking to relocate. Love your feedback, everybody, like what they think, if this is too much. Like the layout is really clear, that's good. Given a table of contents so people can navigate through, to get to at least kind of look and see what's in it without having to scroll is great. So yeah, I think this is a very valuable lead magnet. So I just would worry about people being a little overwhelmed. Unclear if someone's really planning on this, they might really want to do the deep dive research, but you are giving an awful lot away. But
I'll weigh in on that. I mean, I think Cheryl mentioned earlier, she asked about a $7 thing. And this is the type of ebook that you can totally put a price on it for sure. And instead of making this the lead magnet, make that a paid little digital product. And maybe instead of the lead magnet being a checklist, so 50 things to check off your list before moving overseas as an expat.
I wouldn't even do 50 on a checklist. It's too long.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
Maybe
like
20 or
overwhelming.
15 or something.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, and then make that a paid product.
And then you might want to be psychologically, if it's a paid product, like Aran is suggesting, you might want to shift the title to be, your guide to glorious expat living, and then have you can do a subtitle, before on the ground, and like tips to prepare, travel and hit the ground, and have like an amazing experience, kind of thing, like as a subtitle, to like really explain the value of it. And that kind of sounds more, that describes, it's a little bit more of a meaty title than the 50 tips. So you could absolutely keep going with this. Like, aside from like the need for table of contents and some of those little design tips, you could totally use this. I'm not saying that like you have to start charging for it or anything. But if you do, I would shift it to less of a tips and more of like a guide. You know what I mean? Just psychologically, it's how we position these things. Could be the same exact content, but how we name them and position them is really important. So, and Aran, you're actually, you've relocated. So I forgot that you could weigh in on this also as someone who's relocated.
Yeah.
And do you want to take us back to the presenter view? And then, Han, thank you. Yes, Bolwerk. In English, it's Bulwark, Bulwark, is stronghold, citadel, fortress, garrison. I think it's probably a German name that I think my people came over from Germany in the 1600s to Holland, and my grandparents came over to America from Holland. So, yeah, I don't have Leah's. Can I get? Do you know if?
Yeah, I mean, I think because the next call is going to be in half hour, I think it's wise. I think it'll be wise if we kind of wrap it up here.
When you're reviewing,
no, this is fantastic. And I would argue that everybody that's still here, we got 19 people here. They've been here for 2.5 hours now. And I reckon if we were to keep them on, they'll probably stick around. And if I tell them that, if I tell you that you're coming back tomorrow to do some more reviews, they'll probably say, tell us what time, because we're going to be here. So I think people will, if they were to chime in, I'm pretty sure they'll agree. So we do have a few other lead magnets, and I think this is really, really valuable stuff as well, because I think, a lot of people can take inspiration about the little things as well and be way more aware, right? It's all about the awareness, really, because, especially when you're putting your own lead magnet, you're kind of in front of the screen, and it's like in your face. But then you see other people's, I think you're like, oh yeah, and then it's kind of easier to kind of notice those little nuances, I think, as well.
Yeah,
so.
and any of these, anything we saw today could go out as like a lead magnet. Done is better than perfect, right? I mean, like we don't want to bother with perfect. Like, we want to get it done. I was just giving all those like little tips too.
I love it. I think everybody loved it. So it's fantastic. So let's have a discussion about that. See, because we do have some more to review, and I think we'll have a discussion separately to see if we want to do another one like this, I think.
Okay. Yeah, this is actually what I'm going to be doing in my membership. So.
Yeah, good. Awesome.
So
awesome.
I do definitely want to let people have a break between the next.
Yeah.
But I want to just real quick scan if there are any Oh my gosh, Marcia, Midnight, you are a trooper. Groups are to help with the groups are to help with memory. Oh, got it. Okay, Dimitra, great. That'd be good to explain, Dimitra, in your like tips, like a little page of tips on how to use that well.
Just tell me if this is the correct email, Beth@copywriter. Is that like that?
Yes, and now, so next time you do this, Iran,
Yeah.
capitalize the B, the C, the T, and the S, because it's going to be easier for us to read. This is like a real-time example, you guys. You're getting a real-time marketing tip. Look at my email now, and then boom. What do you guys think?
Love that.
Because
Easy to
also,
remember,
yeah,
easy to
copy
say,
that
easy
things.
to
It's like
all that.
it's not, it's like 3 words that are separate, different, right? It's a phrase, it's a brand, but oh, and I'm a singer, by the way, so that I have to explain my brand.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't have a website, you guys, at that. I just use it for email because I don't really believe in websites for me or what I do. Okay. Yes, Dimitra, well done. I agree. Hillary says, well done, Dimitra. I agree with Hillary. It was well done. All the lead magnets were awesome, you guys. You're doing really great, putting out great stuff in the world, supporting your people. And lots of well-wishing and literally noontime. Okay, good noontime. Very specific well wishes in Greek. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Dimitra. Uh-oh, doubly difficult. Did I say that? I sometimes make up words. Right justification. So Cheryl, what about right justification? So right justification is going to be harder for us to read as well, because we have been spending, 50 years, 54 years, like, well, maybe I've been read to for like my whole life. So yeah, we've spent our lifetimes, at least in English, reading text that was left justified, left aligned. So if it's like a heading or something, Cheryl, you can definitely play with that design of like having something right aligned, but not if it's like more than 2 lines. And oh, beautiful, Han. Let's see. I wish I knew this. Oh, I wish I knew all this before I built my funnel. It would have saved so much time. But you can do more funnels, absolutely, and it'll serve you for anything you do, in the future.
Yeah, you'll always get better no matter what. Done is better than perfect, and then you get better and better as time goes on.
Absolutely. It's so good just to get something out. Believe me. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I do that with my emails. Yay. I'm not sure what that was, but glad you do it. All right, great. Ron, thank you so much for hosting and putting this together. It's been so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely have a chat separately to see if we want to do another one, because I think there was a lot of good feedback, and I think you're so detail oriented. I think people will really enjoy getting some more.
I'm glad that was helpful, because that is kind of my
your thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of my zone of genius. So I have to like always kind of be careful to like zoom out and go, okay, is this serving the big picture?
Yeah. Totally. Awesome. If people love this and you want to, obviously, I think a lot of people here have the all access pass, but in case you don't and you want to refer back to this, 24 hours to review this session alone, that's not a long time. So if you don't have the all access pass, you should definitely check it out. But yeah, I'll see you all in 25 minutes, actually. So yeah, we got
video, and I don't know if other people can. Can we save the chat or not?
No, but you'll see it. You'll see the chat in YouTube, basically.
Okay.
But again, it will all be taken down. But I can say if you wanted some of the feedback, like the comments, I can definitely save the chat for you. That's helpful.
That'd be great. It's always
Yeah, the
helpful
comments.
for me to know what helps people, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
this is a tip, you guys, doing market research. Always
Yeah.
you want to know what your market's needing and what's helpful to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then Beth has a membership that she's launching, and we'll share more details on that. At the end of the summit, I'll write a blog about Beth and her expertise and kind of thank her for all her work and what she did. And then we'll include the details about her membership if you're interested to check it out and get some more support from her as well. So
awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Really appreciate your engagement and the comments. We've read everything and awesome. So yeah, I'll see you all in 20 minutes. Yeah, so next we have Jackson. So Jackson is next, Jackson Aces. And so in case people don't know, let me just share my screen. I'm still getting used to doing these things here, so just bear with me. Okay, like this. Let me just make us smaller.
Make us go away.
Make us tinier.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, so we got Jackson, who's a magician. He also has 6 million followers on social media, and yeah, there's a backstory to this one. So I actually worked for Jackson when I was working my 9 to 5. I knew I was gonna quit. I already knew, and I thought I'm gonna make some money and build my online business. And then I have friends with Jackson's sister, and we kind of connected and stuff. And I mean, we're friends with Jackson as well, but we kind of have I'm kind of a friendly friend. And basically, I started doing sales for him on the side. So I'd take his inquiries, and I would actually do sales for him. And I ended up working for him doing sales for 8 months, 9 months, while I was side hustling. I wasn't making enough for my online business. I was barely making ends meet, and I was supplementing my income. Is that the right word?
Yep.
By doing sales for Jackson. So, and at the time, he actually didn't have TikTok. I think he was just getting started. Now he's got 6 million. But so yeah,
Oh,
definitely
great expert to have on. Awesome.
Yeah, and to be honest, I learned a lot from Jackson. I mean, you might think just magician. He's a full-fledged entrepreneur. I learned a ton of stuff from him on different things. So I think it'll be a really fun chat, and yeah, share some insights. Yeah, so there you go. Cool.
Thank you
I'll
all.
See you all.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, Amy, to answer your question, is it the same link? Yeah, it's the same link. It's gonna be the live. I'll go swap the link now. So it's summit.com truths. Let me just type it in so you can see it. I'm following your tip now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even when I fill in forms that might be displayed somewhere, I do that.
So this is the link, summit.comtruths.com/live. Right now, in this link, you're currently seeing me and Beth. As soon as we're off, I'll swap it out, and you'll see Jackson upcoming session. So yeah. Awesome. All righty. Thanks a lot, Beth. Everybody's very appreciative. And yeah, really appreciate all your expertise and detail orientation. And we'll be in touch after this as well.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.